中にいたんだ。ここから私たちの姿が見えてたなんて不思議な気分ね。
つか、なんで鴨志田だったのかも謎だけどな。
みんなの話じゃ元の映画の登場人物が変わったって。
ああ、我が輩たちが来てから鴨志田ーマンに変わったらしい。
元は別の人物だったようだ。
私の勝手な解釈だけど、もしかしたら置き換わったんじゃない？例えば私たちの身近にいる似てる人に。
鴨志田とヒーローに共通点があるってことか？
もし誠の言う通りだとすれば、登場人物のイメージに合った人物を実在の人間の中から当てはめる、いわゆるキャスティングというところか。
皆様、よくご無事でした。お怪我はありませんか？あなたたちが元から映画館にいたっていう？支配人の凪と申します。彼女は光さん。はじめまして、奥村春と申します。私は新島誠、彼らの仲間です。あれ？人見知りみたいなの。昔の双葉に近いっていうか。
なあ、光。映画どうだったよ？俺たち鴨志田ーマンをやっつけただろ？ちゃんと見てたか？
見てたよ。
お前ずっとあの胸くそ悪いままの映画を見てたんだろ？ちゃんとした結末になってやっとすっきりしたんじゃね？だろ？
捕まってた友達も助かってよかったね。心配してくれてたんだね。どうもありがとう。
だがこれで分かっただろ。我が輩たちに不可能はないぜ。そうだよな。ノーコメントだ。もっと頑張れってことだな。
I am sorry, I do not understand kick ass.
ところであの映画ですけれど、皆様の導いたあの結末が正しい形だったのかもしれませんね。
正しいとは？
光さんもそう思いませんか？ここで流れ続けていた映画は当然のように権力者が支配をする。それも一つのあり方かもしれません。この映画にはもっと違ったメッセージがあったと思うんです。違ったメッセージ？力がある者はその力の使い方を間違ってはいけない。その力で弱き者を救い悪を罰する。それこそが本物のヒーローである。きっと本来はそんな映画だったのではないでしょうか。私、あの映画あんな結末じゃないと想像してた。どんな話だと思ってたの？偉い人に盾ついたら空気を乱すなって嫌われる。変なやつだって周りからも白い目で見られる。大多数の人が正しいと思ってるならそれに従う方が楽だから、みんな黙って権力者に従って終わる話。
I like how this does go into ideas of how art can be interpreted differently by different people, and often people will bring their own biases into how they view the themes of a work. But that's definitely missing the point of at least the ending we gave the movie.
そういう現実は確かにあるかもね。
Oh yes, you would know, Akechi.
私、そんなの絶対に嫌。自分のことだけじゃない。仲間や友達を見捨ててまで従うなんてできないよ。
ああ、偉い野郎に尻尾振って暮らすのは楽だろうけどさ、そんな自分に胸張れっか？俺は我慢できねえよ。
な
あ、光はどうだ？助けてくれる仲間や友達、すごく大切だって私は思う。光？
わからない。今心がすごくモヤモヤしてる。
光さん、
Yeah, I was wondering who could barge into the cinema like that. It was either you or the Velvet attendants.
どう？何？人形？
Oh, right, you haven't been introduced to Tada no Boyo Boyo yet.
あ、みんなが言ってた映写技師さん？ここで勝手に映画を流してるっていう。
光さん、こちらへいらっしゃい。
もしかして勝手に映画を変えたから怒っているのかもしれないね。
待って、なんか様子がおかしいぞ。
おい、急に何なんだよ。
みんな気をつけろ。
Just realized that Doe's arms look a lot like the Shadow Queen's.
光さん、
苦しんでる。
まさか攻撃してくる気か。だとしたらここではまともに戦えない。
どうするの？
なんとかできるか。
光ちゃん、大丈夫？落ち着け！私たちもついてるぞ！ちょっと爆発するんじゃないの
That whole sequence actually freaked me out a lot when I first played this because, I guess I'll just say I used to have a pretty intense phobia of vomiting, after I, like, vomited at a carnival once, and it just kind of, the feelings associated with it just stuck with me, and a lot of that kind of felt very similar to the, like, even the sounds and the sort of clawing at your throat, it's kind of similar to what I went through. I don't have that fear anymore, but it was something that I had for a pretty significant portion of my life.
収まったの？
おい、見てみろ。銅が何か落としたぞ。
あれはこれ鍵？
But yes, now we have a key made out of eye bath.
鍵だな。あいつが所持していたのか。
どう？何の鍵だ？
And he's gone.
どう？てめえ、なんか言えよ。
I am sorry, I will not respond to such rudeness.
言っちゃったな。まあ、もともと何聞いても答えなかったけど。
光さん、もう大丈夫ですよ。
なあ、もしかしてあの鍵って出口にかかってた鎖のじゃないか？
And considering that it has a K on it, it was probably from the Kamoshida Man Labyrinth.
言われてみれば出口の鍵とつがいになってそうな感じがするな。
You know, it kind of makes sense for Morgana to be able to recognize the shapes of keys and the locks they'd fit.
でも平気かしら？触った途端爆発したりとか。
Oh, no, really the Velvet attendants are the only ones who'll be doing any exploding around here.
では試してみてはいかがでございますか？
I did not plan that, by the way. I did not realize they'd show up after that, saying that.
今度は誰？一言で言うと青の一族だ。ああ、本当ね。確かに青い。っていうか
か。どうしてポップコーン？
どうして popcorn? Yes, that is a line for the ages.
ああ、気になられますか？これは開店の儀式のためにあつらえら。
で、いかがなさいますか？こちらの鍵、試されますか？試されませんか？さあ、どっち？
あ、俺も賛成だ。やってみなければ進まない。
そうと決まればレッツラゴーでございます。
ねえ、あの青い服の人たち、結局誰なの？
They're weird, but they're no threat to you unless you go for the super boss fights. That's all you need to know.
俺らもあんま分かってねえけど、まあ歩きながら話すわ。
すごい鍵の量。話には聞いてたけど、厳重を通り越して異様ね。
ああ、我が輩のピッキングテクでもびくともしねえ。だがこれを開けられれば外に出られると踏んでいる。
本当に試されるのですか？もし万が一のことがあったら。
その時はその時だ。さあ、鍵を試してくれ。
Yes, if this was D&D, you would check out for traps first.
その潔さ、さすがリーダーだ。
Akechi, you just want him to bear the full force of the trap, don't you? I like how this gets a full, like, animated cutscene. And one chain down, 3 to go.
おっしゃー、開いたぞ。
まさか本当に開くなんて。
だから言ったろ、我が輩たちの読み通りだ。
じゃあ私たちを閉じ込めているのは鍵を持っていたあの銅っていう？
単独犯かどうかはわからないが、関わっていると見て間違いないね。
でもどうして鍵を出したんだろう。
That's what I was thinking.
苦しんでたようにも見えたし、さっぱりわかんない。
つか、あいつが鍵持ってんならよ、残りも出させればいいだけじゃね？
Unfortunately, every time we hit him, he just goes boyo 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 boyo, and it doesn't work.
なあ、全員で銅を囲んで鍵出せって詰め寄ってみね。
私もそう思う。あいつ刺激しない方がよくない？
ってキモかったし、怒らすと自爆しそうだ。パーティー全滅する。
じゃあ残りの3つの鍵どうすりゃいいんだよ。
これは私の完全な推測だけど、映画の結末を変えたことで銅が苦しみ、鍵あと3つ映画を変えればいいってこと？理屈的に考えて。
I am so glad that the other collective brain cell in this group besides Akechi is now here.
このシアターって他にも映画やってるの？
シアターは他に3つあるのですけど、異変が起きてからは閉鎖した状態でして。でも残りの鍵の数とシアターの数は合うのよね。困ったわね。他にも情報があれば。
光？どうした？ああ、いや、何か言いたそうだから。
これ手がかりになるかわからないけど、気づいたら持ってて。
なんだこれ？さっきくれたノートとは別か？
招待状。絶対に映画を見に来てください。It looks like.
招待状？
Okay, I didn't actually know what Shortaijo meant, but she just said it.
絶対に映画を見に来てください。
And yes, Futaba's translating the other part for us.
なんだ脅迫状か。
光は誰かに呼ばれてここに来たってことじゃねえか。やっぱどうってやつの仕業じゃねえ。
わからない。全然怖くて。気づいたら一人だったんだよね。不安な気持ち、私もわかるよ。でも安心して。今はナギさんも私たちもいるから。そうだよ。協力してみんなで一緒に出よう。
Yeah, it definitely feels like there's something bugged with Femc's mouth movements, because everyone else moves their mouth just fine.
どうした？何か思い出したのか？ここで見なくちゃいけない映画がある。
館内の皆様にお知らせいたします。まもなく第2シアターにおきまして新しい映画が上映されます。繰り返します。
言ってるそばから新しい映画だと。行ってみるか。
第2シアターだっけ。ご案内いたします。皆様こちらへ。
And thankfully, they do give you some time to prepare and check stuff out before we head to the next thing. And if we check the party list, you might notice that Makoto and Haru are here, although it hasn't, like, officially shown them to us. So, let's go over them! Makoto is a little interesting in this game because if you played Persona 5, you might not be all that familiar with how she works here. They've changed her a bit. Instead of being more of a jack-of-all-trades, she's actually a mixed physical and magical attacker, and given that both physical and magic are good in this game, that's not a bad thing to be. Her agility is also decent for the early game, but by the late game it falls behind. Also, for most of the game, her strength grows slower than her magic, even though it ends up at the same number. In terms of abilities, she does learn some healing and some defense buffs, but she focuses more on nuclear skills, learning both magical versions and some physical nuke skills. And also Nucleo Strike Link, the Link skill for nuclear skills. Nice to have a Link skill on your base kit, though she'll need double, triple, infinite Link from sub-personas in order to make full use of it, and at that rate it's probably better to just give Femc Nucleo Strike Link via a sub-persona. She only needs one sub-skill slot to fill the same role, basically. She also learns both Nuke Boost and Amp, and that's decent because not a lot of party members get both Boost and Amp in this game. I'll get to that in a moment. And her signature skill is Full Throttle. This gives her first strike, and this goes above Boost. It's a separate priority bracket. For the data mine lists it as 4 turns, but I guess that includes the turn you cast it, where it doesn't really do anything because you won't start striking first until the next turn. And it increases her attack power of both physical and magic attacks by 10% while it's active. It takes up its own buff slot. Now, this uses the same buff as Bestial Roar and Dragon Cry, which also make you strike first. But Bestial Roar gives you a 30% buff, so it's weaker than that, but it's also a lot cheaper. Now, once Makoto gets her upgraded persona later in the game, the upgraded version of this skill is literally just Dragon Cry but cheaper. Both of them give a 50% power boost. So, having essentially free Dragon Cry but cheaper is really nice in the late game, and that alone makes Makoto quite worth using. And now Haru. Haru in this game has her stat build slanted entirely towards strength and endurance. She basically goes full physical here. And her signature skill, which she starts with, like Makoto, is called Axe Guard, which lets her fight a Superboss and tells her no, actually, it gives her a 25% chance of nulling any physical attacks against her specifically. So she's kind of a physical tank. The evolved Persona version of this skill is a 45% chance, which is really solid against heavily physical enemies. But the fact that it only affects her is a little limiting. She also learns Regenerate 1 and 2 to help with her tanking, though not Regenerate 3. And speaking of things she doesn't get, remember what I was saying with Makoto's bio? Yeah, Haru gets Psi Boost, but not Psi Amp. And her Psi skills, though she does go all the way up to Psyodyne, she also learns some physical Psi skills to benefit from her strength stat. Now, the power of these moves is roughly in the middle of her magic versions. So Mind Strike is in between Psi and Psyo in power, and Mental Smash is between Psyo and Psyodyne. Unfortunately, she doesn't get the heavy physical Psi attack by leveling up. She also learns some normal physical attacks like Twin Slash, Triple Down, and One-Shot Kill. Unfortunately, she doesn't get a piercing attack until the very end of her levels, unlike Joker. So her skill set is kind of a mixture of a lot of things, but you sort of want to focus on physical with her. Her Psi attacks aren't quite as useful for utility as they would be in her home games because technical doesn't exist here. She does get Reader, which removing binds and ailments is kind of nice, but it's only single target, and she learns it very late. The main late skill that's useful for her is Heat Riser. This is a case where I like it better than her home game, because while Heat Riser I found meh there, in the Q games, Heat Riser is not only a separate buff to like regular Taru, Raku, Tsukukaja, so you can stack the two of them, it's also a bigger effect than those buffs. So yeah, getting Heat Riser naturally is really nice. Unfortunately, it doesn't come until very late. So yeah, this game has no shortage of very strong physical attackers, and that's probably Haru's main weakness. Is that she's kind of outclassed when you aren't just going for pure Psi physical damage, but she's still a decent character to use, especially if enemies are weak to Psi attacks, or if they use a lot of physical moves. In fact, you might be able to stack Axe Guard with Line Guard against heavily physical enemies, drawing physical attacks into her and giving her a chance of nulling them. That's a good combo. Now, yeah, you might notice that Makoto and Haru are both level 11. I guess that's the level they expect you to beat Kamoshida Man at. However, our wild level is actually 12, and it's overtaken Ren. So, now's a good time to talk about that item that Kamoshida Man just dropped, if I can find it. Growth Incense, here it is. This instantly raises one character to the wild level. You don't get a lot of these. Oh, they can only be used in... Oh, no, you can use them on the reserves if you press R. So, this is my antidote to not grinding Yusuke. Now, normally, this would be a huge waste, because a lot of people consider Yusuke to be the worst character in this game. But I want to try and use everyone, which is probably going to work against me, but, you know, I like to do that in these games. So yeah, Yusuke from that gets Bufu, and nothing else, because he doesn't learn Zan Shinken until later, even though I already had that on sub-personas. And we also have an item drop from Super Kamoshida Man, so let's go ahead and sell that. You might notice that Hikari's showing some interest in the film festival. Okay, so the K symbol lets us make a whole bunch of extra stuff. Wow, that's a lot of things. Oh yeah, that also gives us Bind Aid. I like the pun on Band-Aid there. Which cures binds. Yeah, it's separate from Clean. So the fact that they're giving us access to this now probably implies we'll be encountering enemies that use binds soon, so I'll take 4 of those. Already have 1 Go M. And oh boy, that's a lot of weapons available on people. It's just a no secondary effect though. Heavy grip, and no secondary effect. Oh, 2 more endurance on Haru, excellent. Critical rate +3, nah, I don't really want better physical attacks on Arn. Nothing. Endurance +1 on Yuji. I mean, okay, I think I like that crit rate +5 though. Large slingshot, critical rate +5. Again, just basic physical attacks on Morgana aren't the best. I haven't given you a better weapon in a while, though. I kind of want the increased SP, though. Like, really, you want your weapons for secondary effects in this game. No secondary effects. And yeah, +2 magic's way better. And that's all. So now, armor. +3 luck or nothing. Yeah, having luck is good for status ailments, but it depends on who I'm going to be using those on. Actually, no, Arn will definitely take that. As much as he probably doesn't like wearing the steel bunny suit. Hero tights for man's party members. HP +5 and agility +2, not bad. Definitely, Ryuji will like that. Yeah, sometimes I like to say mans rather than men because it's funny. And SP +5% on Morgana, I will take that. Even though that's basically all my money. So are you ready? Are you ready for terrible movie number 2? How can we top Kamoshida Man? Let's see. Oh, hi, Valpoon.
そこは遺伝子操作により現代に蘇った生きる恐竜のテーマパーク。
ほう、次は恐竜ものか。
これ大丈夫かな。
しかし人間たちは去り、島は恐竜たちの楽園となった。そこは肉食竜が支配する弱肉強食の自然界だったのだ。過酷な世界で息を潜め生きる草食竜たち。か弱く力を持たない彼らは群れをなし肉食竜から逃れるための旅を続ける。だがそんな彼らの中に空気を読まない悪が現れる。誰も同意していないのに自分の意見を主張する恥ずべき行為。数こそが正しい、多数派こそ正義。たった一人の言い出した余計な意見など迷惑千万。果たして清き多数派は悪しき少数派を黙らせ、心の平穏と群れの安息を取り戻すことができるのか。圧倒的スケールで送る恐竜映画の最高峰ジュネシックランド、絶賛公開中。
また後味の悪い映画だね。
Yeah, that about sums it up.
だな。カモシダーマンの時と同じ感じだ。胸がモヤモヤする。
I mean, at least there's no one in there based off of one of the abuses the Phantom Thieves have encountered in their actual lives.
多数決の原理っていうのかしら。賛成する人の多い方が正しくて、それ以外の意見は認めないって雰囲気ね。
賛成の多い方が正しいか。なんつうか耳が痛い話だな。
Well, it is if you've been on Persona 5 subreddit.
俺たちも一時期は世間の評判で改心相手選ぼうとしてたし。
リュウジ。だが今の我が輩たちは分かってるはずだ。世間の声に流されず正義を貫く。それが怪盗団の流儀だってな。
There's another reason why they stopped doing that, but that's P5 spoilers if you know you know.
俺たちの流儀はともかく、光、これが君の見ないといけない映画。
わからない。
ナギさんはどうです？この映画に何か心当たりは？
いえ、心当たりもございません。
どうしたの？いや、大したことじゃないんだけど、普通の恐竜映画ってさ、もっとこうバーンっていうかさ。
FemC continues to be amazing.
それな。
もっとこうズババババーンドゴーンって感じだよな。
Futaba is also amazing.
お、いいとこついてくるな。そんでもってドドドドドってなる。
言い方はともかく言いたいことはわかる。仲間を助けたいのに周囲を伺って声を出せない恐竜映画なのに人間の世知辛い部分を見てるようで生々しいのよね。
Yes, it's almost as if this movie isn't actually about dinosaurs at all, if maybe it's about something entirely different.
輪を乱すのは悪でみんなお互いの顔色を伺って。
Not to mention that, in both movies we've seen, the dissenter who speaks out against the, protagonists of the movie has been a girl.
鴨志田マンの映画といい、なんでそんな話なんだろうね。
映画に限らず芸術には作者のメッセージが込められる。
Yes, in a way, like, Yusuke would probably be one of those people who's sort of aware of this, of like, yeah, the art reflects subconscious biases, and even if people didn't intend to put any messages in what they created, they'll always end up putting something of their own personal values in there.
この場合は自分を捨て他人に合わせるのが正しいというところか。
Like, I think I saw one thing saying it's like sometimes when it comes to literary analysis, it's like what the work is obviously saying, and then what the creator didn't know they were saying.
はあ？そんなんで自分のやりたいことを捨てるとか虚しすぎだろ。
同感だ。俺なら周囲が何と言おうと絵をやめる気はない。
私は周りに合わせなきゃって気持ちちょっとわかるな。
Kind of, yeah, you can really understand that.
みんなに会ってなかったら私会社や大人に流され続けてたもの。
And married a complete asshole.
あの映画そんなに変？
なんとも思わなかった？
不思議なの。みんながどうしてそんなに怒ったり悲しいと思うの？
あの恐竜本当はダチ助けたいんだぜ。なのにできねえとか辛すぎだろ。
でも仲間たちは反対だった。助けたらみんなも危険になるから。
Yeah, there's a point to that.
だが助けられるかもしれないしみんな無事で済むかもしれないだろ。やらずに判断するのはナンセンスだと我が輩は思うぜ。
And there's also just the whole fact of, like, the one who's in danger doesn't get a say. It's like, hey, you guys help me, please. And they're like, nah, we've all decided that you need to die so that we can all live. Like, imagine being on the receiving end of that.
それは
Like, a lot of times sacrifices like that, they actually feel more meaningful when it's specifically that one's choice. Like, there's a moment in Hunger Games Catching Fire that's like that.
ひかりさん、あの映画が良いと思うならそれはそれでいいと思いますよ。ただそれは本心であってほしい。あなたには自分を押し殺してほしくないから。
私の本心。あの映画私は違う結末考えてもみなかった。
例えば光があの恐竜ならどうしたい？
So yeah, what I find interesting is that the word they're using for dinosaur, Kyoryu, is literally like a terrifying dragon, which, that would fit because in the English word we use dinosaur is, Greek, I think, for terrible lizard, Dinosaurus. And I know this because as a kid I was obsessed with dinosaurs like a lot of boys my age were. It being dragon in Japanese is interesting because a lot of people think that, like, dragon legends may have originated from people finding dinosaur bones.
私でも他の恐竜が
It's not quite as funny to me as Kitty and the dragon horse hybrid being giraffes.
自分の気持ちに嘘をついたらもっと辛くなるぞ。いや、私がそうだったから。ごめん。
Oh boy, Futaba's getting trauma flashbacks.
嘘。
Like, it is interesting to me how, because Persona 5 itself kind of acted like Futaba was totally over it after, like, the beach trip. But this kind of shows that trauma doesn't go away that easily.
光も鴨志田マンの結末を良かったって思ってくれただろう。だからつまり
もしまた変わるなら、別の結末があるなら、私見てみたいと思う。
本当か？
しゃあ、なら俺たちに任せとけ。なあ、この映画もまた変えてやろうぜ。
ああ、僕も賛成だ。映画を変えることは結果的に脱出することにつながると思うからね。
Oh yeah, we do still need the other 3 keys, of course.
映画を変えたら銅が鍵を出した。今回も同じってわけか？
法則として確定したわけじゃないけど、可能性はあると思う。この変な映画も銅が流しているならなおさらよ。
なら決まりだな。映画の中を探ってみよう。
それじゃ。
Oh yeah, I've already done this. Don't worry, I'm way ahead of you.
ありがとう。
The seniors are back. And yep, there we go. Makoto, Haru, and I think the reason why they took them away from us is because they didn't want us to deal with Nuclear and Psy too early in the game. Interesting, the genre is called Disaster. Which I suppose kind of makes sense, because it's implied that there used to be humans on that island, and there aren't any humans anymore for reasons. It's like the trailer said, like, the humans left. I'm pretty sure they left via all the dinosaurs' digestive systems. But anyway, I think, yeah, we've had a lot of cutscenes. This means that next time I'll be able to just cut straight into the action and just do the, like, labyrinth itself. Focus on that. So, see you all next time for the first floor of Junesic Land. Maybe we'll find out why it's called that. Actually, maybe not. That's the second floor. But yeah, see you all then.